Alright, hello guys, how's it going? In today's video, we're going to be talking about that upcoming very rare May snowstorm, and I told you guys I'd be making a snowfall forecast for this one, and we're going to be doing that today. Now, before I get started with this video, though, I would ask that you do subscribe if you do like weather-related content, and also make sure to share this video with your friends, family, and social media. Now, for today's comment of the day, I want to know, what is a country or place that you have never been able to travel to, but you always have wanted to? Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll be picking one of those for tomorrow's video. Let's get into this video though, and we're going to be taking a look at our warnings, watches, and advisories here. And you can see we have tons and tons of freeze warnings there in those deeper blue colors. That is where all crops and all plants are at risk of being completely damaged there within all of those counties in that kind of navy blue color. Be on the lookout for that. Also, those very light blue colors, that's where we have a freeze watch. So they might get a freeze, might not, but they're in the watch as of right now. And then we have purple colors there for North Dakota and then also for Maine, and that's our winter weather advisories. This is going to change because we do have an upcoming snowstorm. So we're going to start to see more winter weather advisories, more winter storm watches and stuff like that, winter storm warnings possibly even. So be on the lookout for that. That is going to expand. So you might want to take an updated look on the National Weather Service's website. You might want to take a look at that because obviously this video I'm making at 9:46 a.m. right now, so it could have changed by now. Alright, now we're about to move on, and what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at that simulated radar on our RGEM model. Take it hour by hour and just show you guys what this winter storm is looking to do. Now here's today at 8 a.m., so this is actually kind of like now. We probably are dealing with some showers there for Indiana, possibly Kentucky, Ohio, West Virginia, Pennsylvania, and even some snow showers there over Lake Erie. And what that's going to do is it's going to generally kind of make its way southward. And what's going to happen is, as it does so, we're going to see Cleveland and some areas in northeastern Ohio begin to get snowfall, as well as areas in northern Pennsylvania, including Erie, and then it's going to also expand into the Finger Lakes regions of New York State. So let's go ahead and take it one more frame, and you can see it does exactly that. It moves further south. We see areas in northeastern Ohio, northern Pennsylvania, and then also expanding into New York, close to the Finger Lakes regions there. And this is just going to really just begin to expand. We can see we have a lot of precipitation to the south. The cold is moving in from the north, and this is really just a pretty powerful snowstorm for this time of year. The ingredients are all perfect for a snowstorm that is very, very late like this one. Very rare, possibly even historic. Well, definitely historic for a lot of areas, but possibly historic for some others. Because for some it won't be, for some it will be. It just depends where you're at. Alright, now we're about to move on, and we're going to take it to about, I guess, the evening hours of today. So it's very important I made this video this morning because it's going to start getting started this afternoon and evening. So we're really, really imminent with this one, but we're going to move on towards later this evening and take a look at what the simulated radar will look like by that point. Alright, and as you can see, it kind of warms up. This is probably the hottest point of the day. We do see some snow on the very, very northern end of this storm, possibly for the Finger Lakes regions, in through very, very far northern regions of Pennsylvania, but really dealing with mostly just rain showers over the whole Appalachian mountain range there, in through portions of New Jersey and southern New England. Let's take it one more frame, and we start to get a little bit colder. And this is going to be approximately by about 9 p.m. tonight. And we can see the low pressure system is offshore of Long Island and New Jersey by that point. Also, we're seeing a lot more snow for northeastern Pennsylvania, New York State, Vermont, New Hampshire. What's going to happen is it's going to continue to get colder and colder as we head into the night hours. So let's take it one more frame, and you can see this is probably by about 11 p.m. and you can see it's already changed quite a bit. We're seeing more and more snow for more and more areas, even down into West Virginia, more regions of Pennsylvania, and a lot of regions in New York State. Also notice that mountain range there in the Berkshires, down through into Connecticut there. We see a mountain range that extends from central Vermont through western Massachusetts and then down through western, well, I guess northwestern Connecticut. And that's an area that we're looking at potentially switching over to snow first. And that's an area that I expect the most accumulations for, out of the surrounding areas. Obviously, I'm expecting some areas to get more and some areas to get less, but that is one of my more highlighted regions where I expect a pretty high chance for accumulations. Let's take it to about approximately, I would say 1 a.m. here. And we can see that again, that mountain range from the Green Mountains in Vermont down through the Berkshires. And then also we're starting to see the White Mountains down through some of the western regions of New Hampshire getting some snowfall as well. Some higher elevations there. near Keene. I guess Keene is kind of to the west of those mountains mostly. I guess hilly regions would be a better word. They're not very tall mountains. They're kind of moderate. We're seeing northern interior Maine as well, receiving some moderate snowfall by this point. So we're about to move on, and we're going to take it to about, I would say approximately 3 a.m. on Saturday, May 9th. And we're going to see things just expand further and further eastward, and that low pressure system is going to get stronger and stronger, actually, as well. All right, and here we are at about 3 a.m., like I said before. And as you can see, we have that snow expanding eastward. We're seeing more areas in central Massachusetts and central Connecticut getting some snow showers. Also, we're seeing some snow showers very, very far south here. Look at that. North Carolina and Tennessee up through portions of western Virginia and also eastern West Virginia. I know it's confusing to talk about those states sometimes. And we're really just generally looking at still Vermont, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Connecticut, and Maine receiving some moderate snowfall. Let's take it to about, I'd say approximately 6 a.m. here, and we can see some snow showers basically for a lot of areas, pretty scattered about, but we're seeing our main area of snowfall mostly for New Hampshire, Vermont, and Maine by this point. It's reaching closer and closer to the coast, possibly even just north of Boston in Massachusetts, also Hampton there in New Hampshire, possibly receiving snowfall by this point. So they're going to see some tail end snowfall, but really not looking at much in the way of accumulation, I would say. Let's take it to, I would say approximately 8 a.m. here, and we can see, again, just expanding eastward with that rain-snow line. Still, the very, very southeastern regions of Maine receiving rain, not snow, but we're seeing the rain-snow line move further and further east. By the time we're at about, I would say 12 p.m. here on Saturday, May 9th, you can see, again, the rain-snow line has expanded eastward. We're just still seeing more and more moderate snow for the very eastern regions of Maine. I think that's going to be the highlight of the storm, is that region right there. And then by the time we're at about 7 p.m. there, you can see it's pretty much said and done. We're basically just dealing with some snow showers around and about here, but really the main area of low pressure has moved way up into Canada, and we're seeing it come to an end. So let's take a look at what that RGEM has as far as snowfall, and then we're going to get into our official snowfall map from Direct Weather. But we're seeing a general 1 to 3 inches of snow in all of the blue shades, and then the purple shades, that's where we're at 3 to 6 inches. So I see a lot of that for Maine, New Hampshire, and Vermont. And then those pink colors is where they're seeing 6 to 10 inches of snow. And really, I'm looking at a lot of areas having the potential for 6 inches plus here. So that is going to be the case. I think some areas will reach 6 inches at least. Here's that NAM 12KM just for a difference in opinion. And again, we're still seeing those 6 inches plus amounts. So I'm pretty confident that somewhere is going to get over 6 inches of snow during this storm. All right, now we're about to move on and take a look at our official snowfall forecast from Direct Weather for this very rare snowstorm here for the month of May. Now, here is our dusting to 3-inch region. What you need to keep in mind is this is basically in this white shade where I think there will be accumulation of any sort. So if you're outside of this, I don't think that there will be accumulation. Obviously, this map will not be perfect, so some areas outside of this will see accumulation, and some areas within this will not. This is a historic event, so the models really don't know how to handle this. So we're really going off on a limb just trying to figure out what this storm is going to do. This is probably a lower confidence storm than what we're typically used to as far as forecasting a snowstorm, just because we've never seen anything like it. And that's what's fun about weather. These types of events that are just unheard of, or are very, very rare to say the least, at least. So a dusting to 3 inches basically from Cleveland. We're seeing up through northern Pennsylvania and then down through the Appalachian Mountain Range. I think the higher elevation areas there will see some snowfall accumulate, possibly for the very, very mountaintops. We're seeing most of New York State, western Massachusetts, very, very far, northwestern Connecticut, all of Vermont, the very western and northern regions of New Hampshire seeing a dusting to 3 inches, and then a lot of Maine, with the exception of maybe the very coastal regions. I excluded them from the accumulations just because that's what would typically happen in an event like this. Again, it's historic, so we don't really know what's going to happen. We've never really seen a May snowstorm this late, but I do assume that the ocean being a little bit warmer is going to really influence the accumulation here during this storm. Now, speaking of that, here's our purple region, and this is an area that I think could see flakes or some snowfall. I'm just not really expecting accumulation because a lot of you from these purple regions probably watched my prior video for this storm and we're wondering, hey, you said it's going to snow here, so why aren't we in the accumulation? Well, because you could see flakes, but really I just don't expect it to be able to accumulate. So this includes New York City, Boston, also a lot of regions, Portland, Maine, areas like that. A lot of the big cities for southern New Hampshire, Nashua, Manchester, and Concord. A lot of these regions just won't be able to accumulate, I don't think. It's even possible that areas as far south as Baltimore and Philadelphia could see some flakes as well. I'm just not as confident for those regions. So yes, a lot of these regions in this purplish shade or magenta shade could see some flakes, just probably not accumulations like I said before. All right, now here's our 3 to 6 inch region. We can see the Catskills involved there, the Adirondacks, and then also a lot of the mountainous regions there for the Berkshires and the Green Mountains of Vermont up through northern Vermont. And then we see the White Mountains northward in New Hampshire, and then the very northern half, I would say, of Maine, all in that 3 to 6 inch region. And like I said before, I am expecting a lot of areas to go above 6 inches of snow. So here's our 6 to 10 inch area. You can see the very high elevation areas for the White Mountains are included in this. And then a pretty big area for northern Maine there, also included in that 6 to 10 inch region. I think it's very unlikely that we see anywhere get above 10 inches, but I do think that it's likely we see some areas in the White Mountains, and then again in northern Maine see at least 6 inches, possibly a little bit more. All right, now for today's comment of the day, I asked you guys, do you prefer dogs or do you prefer cats? And really quickly after asking this question, I realized that I'm probably, if I answered any of these comments, I would hurt half the people's feelings because people are very passionate about if they're a dog person or a cat person. So I decided to play it safe and go with AR's comment here. He or she said, I'm a dog and cat and every other animal person. And I think that's a great comment because really, in all reality, I do love all animals. It's not really a dog or a cat. I've had both and I just love all animals. So I think it's better to go with that answer than try to, side with the dog people or side with the cat people. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. Again, be sure to share with your friends, family, and social media. I will see you guys in the next video.